Welcome back to another edition of How's the Rutherford County Real Estate Market. First of all, it's a birthday weekend, so thank you very much for everybody who has shared with me the birthday wishes. I greatly appreciate that. This is the week ending October 12th. We got some very interesting information for you. Not only do we have our weekly stats like we keep up with, but I've got some interesting information about the different price points and what's actually happening with the pricing. So I think it's very important for buyers and sellers to be able to look at this and break it down more than what we usually do. So we will get into that in a second. Let me go ahead and move this chart over, and let's talk about what we do every week, which is just this past week, what's happening. So this past week, we're ending the week with 1,577 homes on the market. We have 100 new listings this week, 86 pendings, 61 closed, 61 expired or canceled listings as well. And we closed almost 1,400 units over the past 3 months. This gives us a 3.38 month supply of inventory. It is interesting if you look at this that we have less than 3 months supply in below 300,000, and we're in the threes in a lot of other price points except for the 800s. The 800s is close to 6 months supply. So if we'll go down here and look at our charts real quick, our new listings, as you can see, we were at 100. That's definitely down from the 165 we had last week. We had 190 a year ago last week, but 120 this time last year. So new listings are down. Pendings were down more than what we thought. We had told y'all last week that we probably would see a reduction in pendings this week with it being fall break, but I still expected it to be a little bit closer to last year. Last year we had 101. We're at 86 this week, so we're off about 15 units there. Our month supply continues to be around that 3.3, 3.4 month supply. Now that's overall in the market. We're going to, again, break down some things here shortly that are really going to show us more what's going on with the market. I know it's hard to read these numbers right here, but we're maintaining around 1,550 to 1,600 available homes on the market any week. So we're staying level there, not seeing a big increase, not seeing a big decrease. And we are pending somewhere between 5 and 7.5% of the market each week. So that's what we've got going on there. Let's look at the mortgage rates for this week. We ended the week, and this ends on Thursday, with a 30-year average of 6.3%. I remember we were down to 6.26 about 3 weeks ago. With that said, some interesting things happened at the end of last week. Friday afternoon, President Trump came out and tweeted something about some tariffs and China. And any of y'all who watch the stock market, you know that the stock market really took a hit. Well, also what happened is the 10-year Treasury took a hit. Now, if you remember, mortgage rates align with the 10-year Treasury. So the good news for mortgage rates is this may actually really help mortgage rates. If I were in the process of buying a home, if I were trying to lock in, I would be on the phone, by email, whatever it is, with my lender this weekend or definitely first thing Monday, because there should be some relief on mortgage rates. But with that said, there's also some breaking news that was showing up here. It's not showing up here right now, that now President Trump has said that probably will not make that big of a difference. It's not that big of a deal about tariffs and all that. So I think you'll probably see some rebound, but there might be some opportunity there for you first thing Monday morning. So you certainly want to check into that. Where we look on the national scene, something that caught my attention is this headline here that says national averages mass regional extremes, especially between lower and upper tiers. And this is talking about home builders, and it says some southern home builders targeting entry-level buyers are encountering weaker demand than they expected. Okay. If you read on down into the article, whenever I look here, this paragraph caught my attention. It says, for instance, several southern home builders or southeast home builders have told me they're seeing greater softening in the entry-level segment over the past year. That's also the very segment many builders have been chasing. with some going so far as to roll out smaller builds to entice priced-out home buyers, while the higher tier has held up better. Okay, so this is just saying that we're in a unique market, because normally in Rutherford County, our market is better for, no matter what's going on in the economy. Usually the starter homes have been very good sellers for us, because Rutherford County has always been an affordable county, more affordable than Davidson County, more affordable than Williamson County. So that's always kind of been our bread and butter, and the upper ends were more impacted by the highs and lows of the economy. But right now we are seeing a little different market there, because our entry level has risen so much, and especially compared to the wages, that the entry level is getting hit harder than some of our higher priced homes, where maybe there's a little bit more flexibility with the people because of the equity they had in their previous home, because of their jobs and their wages. So it's really unique, and what it really got me wanting to, really, it got me thinking, and I've got some information for you here, and you really need to pay attention, because these next three charts are 3 pages are very similar. They're the same information, except I've broken it down by different price ranges. So basically, we're looking in Rutherford County here, and we are looking for the past 18 months. I think actually I will just leave it where it is. Past 18 months, and we're looking in the $300,000 to $500,000 price range, which is the entry-level price range in Rutherford County right now. That's a little surprising, but that is. And we're looking at the average price per square foot. If I go over here to right now, for September, that's the latest information we have, and if you look at this last number out here, it says 212. Our average price per square foot is $212. Okay, $212 per square foot. If I come back over here to September 2024, it was $218. So we've seen our average price in this price range go down $4 a square foot. On a 1,500 square foot house, that's $6,000 or so. If I look at August, it was $215 this year. Last year, it was $215. But if I look at July, it was $213 this year versus $218 last year. So we are seeing a softening of the average price per square foot in those price ranges, or in the 300 to 500 price range. And if you look at this shows that I'm not nearly as worried about the month, month over month. But if you look over here, the same quarter as last year, we are down 1.8%. So, that's just showing me that even though the market is staying steady price-wise, or may even be going up, in the lower price ranges, we are seeing some downward pressure, because it still goes back to affordability. If we move on over here, same exact chart, but we're looking at the $500,000 to $800,000 price range. Our average price here in September, give me 1 second here, get that pop up, $217 a square foot, compared to $214 last year. So we're up $3 a square foot. Same thing's going to happen over here for August, $222 versus $210. So that's a huge rise over August of last year. And then $221 versus $212 of 2024. So you can see where we've seen a pretty significant increase in the average price per square foot in the $500,000 to $800,000 price range. And if I take this over the entire market, we're averaging $228 for September this year versus $222. $228 again in August versus, that's what going to be $219. Yeah, $219. So, the headline is that the average price per square foot is still increasing in Rutherford County. But whenever you really drill down into it, our starter price ranges, because of affordability, we're actually seeing those prices decline some price per square foot. The other thing that I thought was really interesting when we start looking at months of inventory, and now we're back to the $300,000 to $500,000 price range. Right now, we're showing that we have 3.8 month supply. Now this is on a 6 month rolling. Whenever I pull it on my chart, it's 3 months. So we'll be off slightly. But if you see back in at the first of the year, we did top out right here around 3.4. Okay. Um, did I read that right? Something's not right there because that's got us right above 4. Okay. So you see this big blip right here, and then we're back kind of up to that. Okay. The interesting thing is if I go look at the $500,000 to $800,000 price range, see this blip was a lot higher at the beginning of the year, and now we're not nearly as high. And whenever I look at the overall market, same thing, we had a lot higher blip here. So in our upper markets, we were taking a bigger hit back at the first of the year, whereas right now it's leveled out a lot, but we're starting to see the lower price points take a little bit bigger of a hit. So very interesting information. Let's break down our markets just real quickly. Rutherford County housing market. You know, I've talked about sellers and still considered stubborn, still trying to hold on to the COVID years. But if you notice, I mean, real close to being motivated because every day that goes by, we're seeing more and more motivated sellers. The other thing that's interesting right here is 37% of all homes in Rutherford County have gone or have had price reductions. Now, if we go over to Murfreesboro and we look at it, Murfreesboro, we actually now are in the motivated seller index. So a lot more sellers starting to get motivated. And if you look down here, 38% of all the homes that are on the market have seen a price reduction. Smyrna's a little bit more stubborn right here. And there's reason why, just whenever you look at some of the pricing and the things right here, the price per square foot, it stayed a little bit more level than what we've seen in Rutherford County altogether and in Murfreesboro itself. So anyway, just very interesting information. Not only is real estate local, it also depends on what price range you're in, and sometimes we forget that. So I've been asked a lot, are we in a buyer's market? Are we in a seller's market? I can make the argument that we're in a buyer's market. I can make the argument that we're in a seller's market, and I can make the argument that we're in a balanced market. Okay, because we're kind of in there. We're depending on the price range. We're in, it's just a really unique market right now, and it comes back to affordability. What I can tell you is that sellers have lost a lot of their leverage. They've still got leverage, but they lost a lot of it. Buyers are gaining leverage. And if you have a motivated buyer and you have a motivated seller, we are making deals that really make sense for both of them. Some of it's, sellers are willing to buy down mortgage rates, so that helps buyers out. Nobody's getting really beat up in this market. I mean, most sellers have pretty good equity in this market, and buyers are just trying to get in houses that are affordable to them. So anyway, if you are interested in any of this information, if you have any real estate needs, please reach out to myself, John Turner, the team leader of the Turner Victory Team, or any one of our team members. We'd be more than happy to walk you through the process and answer any questions you have. And I hope you tune in with us every week. Please make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next week. I hope you make it a great week.